should do. I feel like that's just the honorable thing. But hey, I mean, you know, if you like a stage, you like a stage. That's no big deal.
Right. So we're going to go game 1. We got Hoot versus Muse, and we're starting at Town and City.
Starting on Town and City, yeah, a lot of rule sets actually have this as a counter pick because of the size of the stage. But, you know, given the way that both of these characters play, I don't think that either of them are dissatisfied with having it as a starter here.
Yeah, I think it's perfectly fine as a starter or a counter pick, depending on what you want to do.
Well, I think that certainly the setup of this stage is really good for Muse because Toon Link is so good at juggling, and especially against a character like Wolf, who sometimes has trouble getting that momentum going. Now, of course, his aerial drift is better than that grounded movement, but I feel like you've got to be so rock solid in the way that you get out of disadvantage, because otherwise you get juggled to like 80–90% right off the bat.
Absolutely, and so far they're doing a really good job. They're trying to fill each other out. You know, who's going to take the advantage early on?
Ooh, great recovery there from Hoot, knowing that you don't have to commit to going to the ledge every time, and Muse would have had that covered every day of the week.
Absolutely, and he's got bomb in hand. We'll see what he can do out of it. Just so that, like, I don't want it in my hands to blow up.
I like that they're not playing super committal near ledge. Hoot is just throwing out moves and hoping that Muse runs into them without putting themselves in too much end lag.
Ooh.
And Muse gonna miss that confirm, but Hoot with no punish either is now on the back foot. And once again, Muse, with those juggles covering the air, that is what Toon Link does best.
Yeah, absolutely, and that up air is still really good, you know, in this game. And we'll see what Muse can get off of this stock lead at this point.
Stays out forever, it's got the power. Muse knows how to use every bit of that power. He's up a stock currently, and now just needs to find a way to keep Muse from getting in. And again, we talked about it, Wolf is more suited to that defense rather than the approach game. So as long as Muse just kind of has some fake aggression and then backs off a little bit, this could go very quickly in his favor.
Yeah, and Muse so far has like slowed himself down. He knows that he's roughly at kill percent for a lot of Wolf's moves. So he's like, I'm staying back, so that way you have to approach me since I got the lead.
Yeah, and it worked out very well. He's got a 75% lead, even if Hoot was able to take that stock with actually some pretty tricky gameplay. I like seeing that Hoot actually Z-dropped the bomb onto Muse's shield, gave him a taste of his own medicine. But right now, gonna have to find a way to get back on stage, and once again, around these projectiles is so important. You saw, tried to go for that aggressive landing to stay close to Muse and was able to cover that perfectly.
Yeah, absolutely. That forward smash, you know, it's not like all the other ones you can go 1-2, but that one is still really powerful.
It's a single smack, man.
And then boom, you're gone.
Getting a little bit too aggressive. Just like a lot of approaching here from Hoot. Just in the moments after Muse throws out an attack. In neutral, Hoot's actually doing a good job of staying back, applying safe pressure, but it's after Muse throws something out, you'll see that Hoot is throwing a lot of approaches, even if it was a safe move that Muse just used.
Right, and you know, Muse is throwing out Boomerang to cover himself because he knows that Hoot has been coming in aggressively, so he's like, I'm gonna throw Boomerang out and it's gonna catch you.
Well, Hoot having a really nice cross-up on shield with that back air. Now with the footstool tries to catch the tech in, but Muse knows you never want to tech in against Wolf, man. No. He's got the options to punish you, and he's got a quick option right there to catch that jump out of shield.
All right, so, I mean, Hoot's down 87-13. Your Wolf can definitely do it. I mean, nobody's out.
I love that retreating fair, too. Air dodge. Now Muse has to wonder, okay, so using the Firewolf to the ledge, and I like that because after the air dodge, a lot of Wolves like to use the Wolf Flash because of that reduced ending lag after the directional air dodge, but Hoot did a good job to just stick to the guns and go to ledge because it was open.
Exactly, and you know, you don't want to be out in the open not picking an option too late, so he picked the option. Ooh! And...
Yeah, right there, the same thing we just saw. So that time, Hoot did use the directional air dodge, and they thought, okay, this time maybe I'll be able to use that Wolf Flash, and Muse was ready to cover the very tippy top of that tricord cap.
Exactly. So now, we'll see what the bans are. We'll figure out where Hoot's going to go. Hopefully, you know, Hoot will keep themselves together, composed. They did really good. Just got one or two things, slow down and get your what you need to get in order to, you know, take that last stock.
And like we said, in neutral game, Hoot was actually doing a pretty good job of that, like, in general, especially when Muse was throwing out a lot of projectiles. I like that they were respecting the space that Muse was creating for himself, but the problem came after Muse would throw out just a regular old hitbox, like a forward air or a tilt, and then Muse thinks, okay, it's not a projectile, now I've got to make up that space. and that's where Muse was able to get more capitalization and extend that lead.
And it looks like we're going to Kalos game 2, and we'll see how Hoot neutral does in this game.
I think a big part of this Kalos counter pick, at least in my mind, I'm a Wolf player, and I'm thinking in this matchup, if I'm going to Kalos, I'm taking big advantage of those platforms on the side to extend my recovery and give myself some more options. You saw that Hoot did a little bit of that in Town and City, and now with that being a consistent available option for them, maybe things will work out. Already starting off with the lead.
Right, exactly. You know, and Wolf needs help recovering sometimes because, you know, that side B's predictable. The up B is very laggy, so you can get hit with it. I mean, it's one of those things, those platforms will help.
Yeah, but that being said, you got to deal with that neutral game in the center stage without those platforms to help. Given an even game right now, Hoot's not doing a bad job, but it's this getting out of disadvantage right now. Faking the run to center stage and then popping right back. Muse took the bait a little bit, and that gave Hoot just enough time to get back to the ground. Like we said, man, getting out of that juggle is so important.
And, you know, Hoot has been getting Muse into disadvantage, but he's been able to get back, like, properly.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Did you see the sauce Hoot put on that? It took the whole container of marinara, slathered it all over it. Still didn't matter though, Muse taking that first stock and now stacking up the percent a little bit. Love the up tilt to cover.
And he's doing a really good job keeping Hoot in disadvantage so that way you can tack the percents on, you know, stack the lead on like he did in game 1.
Okay, trying to go for that drop zone nair. But Muse has that solid hitbox coming up to cover himself. But wow, the side B in neutral. Dude, that's the kimono. I'm telling you right now, that's my thing. Shout outs to Hoot for pulling it out.
This is definitely a good option. I mean, it's like one of those random options, you know, not brain dead kind of option, but it works.
You know, actually thinking about it, that was more intelligent than I think we're giving Hoot credit for, because they used that to punish Muse for throwing a single projectile, and they said, I can be over there now hitting you, so I'm going to do that. And it worked.
Yeah, I mean, and now we'll see how Hoot does, you know, patience and playing neutral, and you can bring this back.
Yeah, I just love to see a lot more of the blaster, especially when Muse isn't trying to close that space and is just throwing a lot of projectiles. I like the idea of just tacking on the percent with the blaster.
Yeah, and more distance pressure. Oh, no. Oh.
The mix-up, okay. I am too much of a doubter right now. Hoot's got a couple of tricks up their sleeve, man.
Yeah, it's always good. You got to change your game up, especially against a top player like this. You don't want to get caught sleeping.
Got to be solid when you are on that back foot, and certainly on the back foot at 171.
Yeah, like you smell something and you're dead.
Ooh, getting out of the way, but that right there, grounded up B, hero spin will take the stock. I mean, 181, most things will.
And 27% on that second stock. Muse, again, is going to try to pressure and put that lead even further out to the point where he puts them in losers.
Well, I got to say, Hoot's been doing a good job of mixing up the recoveries. I think that's one of the biggest boons and why this match has been closer than maybe most winners round 1 and round 2s are.
Right.
But we'll see if they got the gumption, man. I mean, 79% stacking up now to the kill percents, and Muse is still sitting pretty on that second stock, right in the middle percents. It's going to take something huge from Hoot to bring this back, and unfortunately, that's just not the way you can play against Toon Link. You got to take it slow.
Yeah, and you got to sling it together. Once you get your one and get them into disadvantage, you got to keep putting it on and keep putting it on, and then eventually you'll get there.
Already burned the double jump, so retreating back to the platform using that air dodge. And there, once again, the blaster, even at close range, putting out some magic for Hoot, who is now trying to take the stock with a 2-frame on the down smash, but missing that timing. And unfortunately, yeah, just looking like they just want to get the stock and get on to the next. But Muse's defense has been solid this whole time.
Yeah, ooh, and that's a good forward tilt with the no-tech, and another to take the stock and the game.
Off stage, Muse is doing a great job of just knowing, I just need to stack up this percent. I'm saying stack up a lot, I apologize, but I just need to build that percent. I need to use that forward tilt, and it will knock them off stage, and then it's Wolf, it's a telegraphed recovery, and even with the mix-ups, eventually you go out far enough, you either die or he knows what you're going to do. So that's what ended up happening to close that out. It was 2-0, but that was one of the closer ones we've seen so far.
I mean,